everybody, and welcome back to Heidi's house. This is your host, Queen Bee Heidi B. And today's featured guest is music producer and DJ Nishant Bardoloi. I'm so excited to hear more about his house music journey. So, are you ready? Then let's go. So, here he is. Nishant Bardoloi is in the house.
Thank you,
Woo!
Heidi, for having me on board.
Oh, I'm so happy that you are joining in as our featured guest to Heidi's House podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
How is Mumbai today?
Mumbai is sunny and apparently it's not raining anymore because we had terrific rains over the last couple of months and it had been really crazy going out. So now it's very sunny and the weather is clean, the birds are out and they're screaming their lungs out and and it's good.
Sounds beautiful, very beautiful. And I know that the winter months over there are somehow specially beautiful.
Yes, the winter has just started off, but in Mumbai you don't have something called as winter because it's always
Ah,
summer throughout the year. That is the
yeah.
speciality of Mumbai.
I went there during well my winter time, and I absolutely loved the place, the food, the scenery, the weather, the
Oh, you have
vibe.
been to Mumbai? You have been to Mumbai?
Yes, yes, I've been there. I've been lucky to visit there, and hopefully one day I'll visit again. I loved
We
it.
are gonna meet in the studio and start working on some new projects.
Beautiful, definitely. Now, hey, since you know that this podcast is kind of like a snapshot kind of podcast of our featured guests, and each one has something to do with the house music. It's a short intro, and we have had here people like artists, music producers, DJs, radio personalities, influencers, all kind of different people related to house music. So I'm gonna start our interview going straight ahead to the first question. In your own words, tell us, who is Nishant Bardoloi?
So basically, I'm a music producer and DJ, and more into music producing lately. And I've been producing music since 10 years from now. And I cracked the electronic music scene in the year 2022. So I had, to be honest, I had sent a lot of demos to a lot of record labels, but I got a lot of like no one bothered to respond, and that was, and I feel that my music was not up to the mark which I felt. So I kind of I started reworking on my production and gained some experience through some of my friends and YouTube is the best teacher as well. And I started improving on my productions, and then finally I gave it a final shot to get one track signed. So I sent it to World Sound Recordings. I mean, I sent it to uh, Hoxton Holes. They are a UK artist. Uh, so I had sent it to them, and I got a reply after I think a month, and they said that they really like my track and they want to get me signed on the label. And that's how I got into the scene of electronic music, and that's how the journey started. So that's it. That was like an amazing feeling for me. And
Mhm.
it was like in the year 2022. If I'm not wrong, it's March.
Yeah.
That's how, so that was supposed to be my last track because after that I decided I'm gonna quit music and I'm gonna
Ah,
start with architecture because I'm an architect by profession. So I then that last track became my first release. Okay, so since then I started producing more and more tunes, and that's how I kept going with the music scene.
wow, what an amazing intro. I have immediately like two things coming to my mind that I wish to share with you. First of all, I'm so happy that you are releasing and making tracks and music. And I'm watching you, constantly growing and bringing new music. So you have been really skyrocketed since 2022.
Since 2022, I have released, I think till now, I have more than 100 tracks under my
Yeah,
belt. And that's a lot of production, but I'm still trying to improve a lot in my music. And I feel that I can do a lot of good stuff. Like, I can do something unique. I want to be a unique
yes,
artist. I don't want to do
yes,
what everyone else is doing. So I want to do something what I can do from my own and, make a different chain of genre, and start with that version of music in the
yes.
house category. Yeah.
It is truly so, and I can only encourage you to continue doing that, because that it's something that really makes you stand out, and you have so much unique, vibes to give there in a house music scene, and to the culture, the music culture as well, and to the sound. And the other thing that I wanted to mention here is that just as you were describing your journey, that you took a long time to work on your tracks and sending them and so on. So that is something that I want to share, and emphasize also to our audience, that it is a long journey. It's very rarely a fast overnight success. It might appear to many people so, that suddenly people, appears from somewhere, but usually it is exactly like you told us, Nishant, that it takes
Yes.
years and years and years of
Years
work,
of practice.
and sometimes, people not trusting in you and saying no to you, or just, they just don't wipe with your vision and so forth. And I have had this exactly the same experience. And isn't it interesting that on that moment when you feel like, okay, this is it, I'm gonna give it a last chance, and then it's like, no, I've done everything that I can, and
Yes.
usually that is the moment when you don't expect anymore anything, and that's the thing where miracles happen. Have you noticed that?
Yes. I noticed that, and that's how exactly the universe surprises you. So the
Exactly.
least you expect, the more you get the reward.
True.
So that is
So
how it is, and it has been an amazing 3.5, 4 years journey, like since then, and I'm just enjoying making music. And since then, I have signed with a lot of labels. And I'll
yeah,
speak to you in the coming time.
beautiful. And yes, that is how the universe works, like you just mentioned there. Now, talking about, before we go to the music, let's explore your DJing a little bit. What got you into DJ? Can you tell us a bit
Okay,
about that?
so in the DJing scene, so pre-COVID, so I used to spin before the COVID times, and I used to spin in few places in Mumbai and local events, private events, and all that stuff. And I used to play. So there's this popular genre over here. It's called as Bollywood. So I used to play some Bollywood music for the people, and that's what. But then I slowly, lost interest in Bollywood music, and I was more into house music by then.
Mm,
And I started playing. There's a very famous place called Hakkasan in Bandra, Mumbai. So I
mhm.
used to spend there. I used to play a lot of house music, and that's how I got a lot of contacts. And through that, I got to play a few more events in Mumbai, and that's how I, got into the world of DJing. And I used to play a lot of house and tech house genre during that time. But what happened is, like, after the house and music, I mean, what the music I used to play, so techno was in the scene. So people used to love a lot of techno. There used to be a lot of rave parties, and people were, like, into techno music. I know a lot of people who were into techno. There were a lot of big clubs who were promoting techno, but not the house which I used to play. So then the COVID had come, and then I stopped everything, and everything was shut for a year and two. And that's how I started focusing on music production. And then I came into music production full time now, and I'll get back to DJing in 2026 again.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful kind of combination.
Yeah.
I also personally find it's like they each support each other, DJing and then the music production. Really, you all the time you kind of like, subconsciously you are somehow analyzing and selecting and working and getting all the influences and so on. So that's a
Yes.
beautiful
Yeah.
way.
But to be honest, I love being a music producer more because I love creating music.
Mhm.
And I have a vision that I want my music to be played in the world's best nightclubs. And there's a DJ called Saya, and she's a great supporter of mine. And she has played my tracks in Ibiza, and she has played in some good places like Es Paradis, Eden, and Cap Del Mar. And a lot of places she has played my tracks, and she has supported a lot. And that's how, and that's how I got the motivation to write more tracks in that way. So I write Latin house music as well. So that's also my specialty.
Wonderful, wonderful. And continued success. And I truly believe that your vision will come true.
Thank you.
Uh, it is something there that it's in the ether. I can feel it and see it. Sometimes you just have a hunch on these kind of things. Oh, Nishant, let's go back to the early time when you realized that you have a vision of making music and music production. What got you into music production, and when did you notice that you have a talent for that creativity?
Okay. So just starting off with the music production thing, I'll just go back to my early days. So I started learning the guitar. I started playing an instrument and at a very young age, and I took guitar very seriously. And then I used to play a lot of rock songs. I used to play a lot of classic rock songs, and styles from 1980s, 90s. And I used to play a lot of boys band stuff like Backstreet Boys, Westlife, and a lot of pop stuff, Britney Spears. So that's how my interest in music grew. And as soon, the time passed, and I was in the architecture college, and a good senior friend of mine, his name is Pratik. So he told me that you play good guitar, so why don't you start writing music? So I said to him that I don't know how to write music. I mean, how should I do it? So he said that you can download the software called Fruity Loops, and I was like, okay, so I'll just give it a try. So I downloaded Fruity Loops, and then I started fiddling with the beat pattern, which is normally the iconic center stage of the Fruity Loops software DAW. So I started making beats, and that's how I find it. It was very interesting to do something like creating, because I didn't have a band, so I wanted to do something what I can do everything by myself, where I
Yeah,
can write the bass line, I can write my own guitar loops and whatever, the vocals I can have. So it will be under my name. So I wanted to do something like that, and that's what he said. You can do it in the software, and I started browsing YouTube, and a very good friend of mine in Mumbai, his name is Farhan. So he gave me a lot of tutorials on how to make music. So I literally learned music production from him, and he was the one who guided me a lot in the early days of music production. And yeah, that's how I started writing music. And I made very basic stuff, like a simple. I used to take a sample from Backstreet Boys and maybe some random sample from the 80s, and I used to write a piano tune, and then I used to sample it over over the piano, and used to make those kind of music. But obviously, it was very cheesy back then. And so I have some good friends who used to go to parties. Even we used to go to parties in Bombay. We used to attend a lot of gigs and concert that used to happen in Bombay side and underground parties. So we used to go there. We used to listen to a lot of stuff, and that's how I got to know about house music. I got to know about progressive house music and a lot of music under the category of house and disco, a lot of new disco style, and all that stuff. So that's how got me a spark into house music. I was like, no, I want to make something like this. This sounds exciting. The bass line is exciting. The piano is exciting. The vocals are exciting. Let me give it a shot. So I started doing. There's a very famous app called Sajam. So I used to Sajam all the songs and everything. And I used to take down the songs. I have to listen to it carefully, and I was like, no, this is my sound. And in 2012, I used to listen to a lot of Tool Room Records style of music. Mark Knight, James R, and Hoxton Hose was peak at that time, and I used to listen to them a lot. And that's how I developed a taste that no, I want to make something like this. I
Yeah,
I wanted to make something like what Hawks and Hawks does. They have a very groovy vibe, like the percussions, their hi hats, their kick drum, the bass lines, vocals, piano, everything is top notch. So I wanted to do something like that, and that's how I started, writing music slowly and slowly. I developed my habit. Then I started working on the technicals, and I wanted to do a lot of research on how to create and work on the arrangement and all that stuff. So that's how, like, over the years I started working. And then I started sending demos in the year 2020, 2021. And that's how I told you before, like, in
yeah.
2022, I got signed. Yeah. And it was my dream to work with Hoxton O's, and that actually happened after 12, 13 years. And I started collaborating with Kevin Andrews, and a lot of
Wow,
tracks has been released with him, and we got a great exposure, and he loves my music, I love his music, and we collaborate and releases new, like, work. So
amazing.
each year we are planning to kind of release good set of tracks.
And isn't it, beautiful and somehow it's so miraculous that when you do music and you are really like, focused on learning this craft and focused on your vision and not giving up, these things like you just described, you might actually get to collaborate at one day with the people
Yeah.
whose music you are listening, and it just
Yes.
sometimes it's like mind blowing, but
Yes.
anything is possible, and that's a
Anything
beauty.
is possible. I feel that it's hard work. It's 100% hard work. Nothing
Yes.
happens over time. Uh, I have seen so many podcasts, with like who are really famous, and artists like David Guetta, Harry Romero, and lot of people. They all said one thing, like, it's all hard work. Nothing comes in one day. So it's true, and you have to experience it if you want to pursue something in life.
Exactly. So people don't get discouraged. This is,
Yeah.
I think, the message. Keep on working on your craft and trust that process. And I would also add that don't put any kind of limitation. Be open
Yes.
to
Open.
opportunities and
Yes.
collaborations and things. Just
Music is a very vast genre, and it's like sky's the limit. Like, it's so vast, you cannot finish in one life. It will take, like, so much to learn. There is, even till today, I'm learning. Like, every track of mine is very challenging. So
Mhm.
what I did yesterday, it's not the same again today. Like,
Yeah,
and then it's not gonna be the same again in the future. So everything is gonna change. So you have to keep adapting and, growing, and that's how you be a good artist in the future.
exactly. It's constant evolvement and change.
Yes.
Now, I had this sudden question coming to my mind, but I'm gonna probably ask you anyway. And it's really off from the idea that I was thinking when considering this interview theme with you. But since you come from the side of architecture, what would you say as a professional architect yourself? Uh, what are the similarities between doing that and doing music? Can you see
Okay.
some things that have been like helping you or support you or
Yeah.
in your creative?
So I'll be honest with you. I finished my degree, and I'm not pursuing architecture anymore. So I'm a
Mhm,
full-time musician now. But I
mhm,
can surely give you a glance on how architecture helps in music. So the designings, so I'm a big fan of Tadawando and Zahadi. They are two big, great architects of all time, and I really like the work. And Zahadi's design actually says that there is no defined geometry. You can do whatever you want, but it gives a different feel. Like, if you go to Dubai, you can see a lot of her structures, that is there. And it's everywhere in the world, like every part of the world. She has done great designs. It is very unique. Okay. So she is not following a standard set of architects in the world, like, who are doing a simple design of a house, but he's doing something very different. And that's how inspired me that even in my music, I want to do something different, what she does in architecture field. So that's how it motivates me. And, the design. So even the color combination plays an important role in life. What colors do you choose? How people can replicate that color day to day life? What color impacts, what colors are loud, what colors are light, even that. So the music also, if you're making a good disco vibe, the people can understand, oh yeah, this is a disco style. Okay, if I'm doing this house. Okay, so people can also understand what kind of, so even the style also plays an important role in architecture and music both. It goes both hand in hand. So yes, that's it.
Very well said. Thank you for sharing that. That was somehow,
Like,
I thought that that might be very exciting,
yes,
comparison
absolutely.
to do. Now, if you think about your music, you already mentioned about that you want to bring something unique and you want to be creative and maybe explore a bit more of the styles. Now, I know that you have also included in your music a lot of music from your own tradition. Can you tell us a
Yes.
little bit about how that plays a part in your house music?
Okay, so in my tradition, so we have a lot of different. So in India, the instruments are vast. Okay, there are no definite instrument. There's like a lot of instruments. So if you go like every 3 kilometers, you'll find a different instrument, and people are playing a different instrument. So that's how, and something I really like Harry Romero. I like his style of music. He's very percussion oriented, and his tracks are very percussion oriented, and I really like that style. So that's how, if you listen to my latest track that was released in Ho House Recording, it's called as Blackie's Groove. So that track was actually inspired from Harry Romero. And there's a track called Rhythm is God, and it was released in Big Speaker Music. And that track is also inspired from Harry Romero. The two tracks, So I love percussion work. So I use a lot of percussions, like in Indian percussions, like, the tabla is very famous. So I use these kind of elements in my music to show that, so I don't want to speak to everyone that I am Nishan. I want my music to speak. Okay, so let the elements speak uh, the to the crowd, you know. So I use tabla, I use sitar. So I have a album coming out next year with one of my friends. He is based in London, and we are using Indian vocals. We are using all Indian instruments, and it's house. So it's a collaboration of house and Indian music together. We are fusing everything, and we are done with 8 tracks, and we are all set for the mix and mastering now, and it's on the process. And once it's done, we are going to release it next year. So
Oh,
that's how I
I'm
like.
so excited about that. And I absolutely love the fact that you are taking that kind of approach, that you want to bring something from your own tradition and whether regarding the instruments, the
Yeah,
traditional rhythms and so forth. And
yeah,
then I also love the fact that house music is so wide, that it kind of allows you to explore also how to put that into, how to merge that and fuse that together into a house
very
sound,
true.
and it
Yeah,
keeps it evolving and developing.
evolving. So there is no definite genre in house. You can do whatever, because I might do this. There might be a new age artist who is growing now. He will do something else, So the definition is not definite. Like, there is no a standard definition. It can evolve. It can turn to a new genre. It can be something else. It can be called as a new age house music. You never know. So the journey in music is never endless. The styles are never endless. You can create your own style. Maybe there might be a different kind of jazz and blues coming in the future. You never know.
Exactly. And I was about to ask about your future plans and projects, which you now shared here. So let's people stay tuned for this one. I think it's gonna be amazing. Any other new projects that you would like to share here? Uh,
Right now, I'm not working on any new projects. Oh, yes, I'm working on some of my projects, and I have a lot of collaborations coming out and with a lot of artists. And we are planning to get it released with some new labels now, with some house labels. And that's it. Like, that's it. And I'm going to start DJing again in 2026. Yeah, that's my plan.
so people, if
So,
you notice him somewhere there in a clubs, don't miss the chance. Don't miss the chance. I wish that one day I'll be able to join in as well once again. Uh,
absolutely.
Now, about the house music influences, are there some particular producers or DJs in the house music genre that have inspired you somehow most?
So there are a lot of artists who have inspired me, and it's all like new, upcoming, like established artists. A lot of people have inspired me. So to be like to just to start begin with, so I used to listen to a lot of trance music back then. So I used to listen. I was a fan of ADB. I was a fan of Chicane. I was a fan of Gareth Emery. I used to Eric Prydz. I used to love their melodies. So I kind of grabbed those melodies in my music and I try to incorporate those vibes in house. There's one more thing I wanted to add. And yes, I like Mark Knight, I like James Hurr, I like Marshall Jefferson, the king of house music. And I like Harry Romero. I like a lot of artists. So they have really inspired me, and their music has been like the thing that I want to be. Like I want to be like them. I want to be beyond them. So I want my music to speak. So that's how and you cannot come down to a few artists because you need to listen to a lot of artists. And I
Yeah.
listened to Michael Gray also. I know that you have interviewed him as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, Michael Gray's music. I listen to Purple Disco Machine, disco. So lot of artists have inspired and influenced in my life.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that is very true, what you just mentioned there. I fully share this, that it is very beneficial for any kind of music producer, artist, or DJ, especially for DJs, to be open for listening different artists, different genres, and
yeah.
so on, because it's truly will help you to develop and evolve your
Your
own
style.
skills
Yes. Yeah.
and everything. Um, and on the side, what you also mentioned, that it's very great to know actually how to play some instrument. It helps you tremendously. I always say that it's not necessary, but it will be so helpful for any
Yeah.
music.
It helps you in writing music. It helps you in creating the start, the start of the music. Yeah.
Now,
So I always recommend to I always recommend everyone to learn an instrument because it's gonna help you.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And now I have time only for two short questions. As you know, Nishant, that this is a snapshot kind of interview. The
Yeah.
the first question is nothing less except what is your definition of house music?
So for me, the definition of house music is a simple, happy vibe, and it has the punchiness of the cake, the bass lines, the pianos, and all the sampled sounds from the 80s, if you listen to Kathy Brown and, her vocals. So for me, that is house, like, that's the raw house music, like the classic house. So that is what I believe, that is house. That's exactly what is house. And that music has really pushed me more ahead to do more music in house genre, basically. Yeah.
Now, the idea also of this podcast is to feature our guests and maybe get viewers to be interested to find out more. So if somebody wants to know more about you and your music, where can they find you in social media?
So they can follow me on Apple Music. I'm on Spotify. I'm on YouTube. Everywhere you can find me. Just write my name, Nishant Bardoloi, and you have my songs there. One of my best production songs, which I would love to share, is One Thing, and it was released with Let There Be House Records. That is like one of the best tracks I have written, and I personally love that. So
Oh,
it's a must listen to everyone.
yes.
So
Go and
yeah,
check
and
that out.
yes, and I got a lot of DMs from a lot of people across on Instagram. Like they said that, this track of mine, One Thing, had to be featured on the MTV. Like, they wanted to hear it in the 1995, 2000 times. Like, this is that track which goes along with that vibe. So that people connect. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as you know, Nishant, here in Helsinki, Finland, it's already, chilly and cold and autumny, and the winter is coming. But this little
It's hot here.
talk was really giving a good vibes. It warmed my heart to know and get to talk to a person as yourself. And
Thank you.
I'm sending you a lot of good vibes and energy straight from Helsinki, Finland to your day.
Thank
Woohoo!
you. Lots of love to you from Mumbai, India. Cheers.
I thank you for this
Thank you.
interview and
Thank you.
looking
Thank you so much,
forward
Heidi, for having me.
looking
Thank
forward
you.
all of those releases and again bye bye from
Bye
Helsinki.
bye. Bye bye.